You came out firing in your grub sheet post on Facebook this morning, where your headline was, and I quote, "Your FBC Propaganda." You call the FBC news story as a breathtaking travesty of the facts. What irked you about this story?
Because it didn't reflect anything that happened at the NFP AGM yesterday in terms of the substance of what happened there. The appearance of Sitiveni Rambuka at the gathering, the speech that he made, the reception that he received. I mean, you know, the FBC reported this morning, you know, that Biman Prasad said it's time for Fiji to face some hard facts and not hide from them. Prasad adds that these facts include the military coup against an elected government in 1987 led by PAP leader Sitiveni Rambuka. He adds that Rambuka became prime minister under a constitution that many opposed and was seen as racially divisive. The NFP leader claims these facts will be talked about by other political parties in the coming months. That wasn't the import of what happened at the AGM yesterday. And I just find it astonishing that the national broadcaster, the media outlet that we pay for, every Fijian pays for, the state, you know, the public broadcaster in Fiji would twist the news in that way. I mean, we see it chronically, we constantly see it, unfortunately, from FBC and, of course, the other Fiji First propaganda outlet, the Fiji Sun. But, of course, you know, the greatest act of nepotism of the Fiji First government was to install the AG's brother as the chief executive officer of the Fijian Broadcasting Corporation. I mean, Riaz Syed Qayyum, right, not only runs the FBC, is the editor-in-chief of FBC News, but also plays an active role in the re-election campaign of the Fiji First the Fiji First Party. And I know that for an absolute fact because I've been involved with him at very close quarters, observing him do this. And I just think that this thing where, you know, the FBC and the Fiji Sun, you know, twist, bend, manipulate, lie, you know, to the constant advantage of the government, and in the case of Riaz Syed Qayyum, the benefit of his brother who put him there, is an absolute scandal. And you know, in relation to the FBC and the Sun, you know, I'm pressing and will continue to advocate for an independent media inquiry after the election happens to have an accounting for what has happened to the media in Fiji. You know, a proper independent inquiry to bring the perpetrators of these journalistic crimes against the people to justice. Whether that involves them, you know, being removed, whether that involves the proprietors in the case of CJ Patel of the Fiji Sun having to divest themselves of that newspaper, you know, is for the inquiry to determine, or its terms of reference or whatever. But I don't think there's any doubt that the media in Fiji there's been a full-scale assault on the media in Fiji by the Fiji First government. And the, you know, one of the worst things, not only about the way in which these, you know, its lackeys and toadies at the Fiji Sun and FBC have been allowed to get away with what they've been doing, is the draconian nature of the media laws. I mean, it used to apply to individual journalists as well as the you know, publishers, which was just an astonishing outrage. But now, of course, you know, the publishers of all of the media organizations in Fiji face you know, $50,000 fines or 5 years imprisonment, you know, for very, very broad definitions of what to anybody else would seem the most ridiculous offences. But there's another aspect to this which is also very important. We need an inquiry as to why so many media outlets in Fiji, and even the good ones like CFL, Fiji Village, why they have been restrained from telling the truth without fear or favour. Yeah, because of the climate of fear that has been instilled by Riaz Syed Qayyum and Frank Bainimarama. This, you know, it is a fundamental importance that this is dealt with in the event that the opposition parties, you know, win the next election. And I honestly think that sort of, you know, that the actions against the media are as important as the other assaults on the institutions of state. which I'm keen to talk about in detail, and I might let you sort of lead me into those.